is legitimately no earthly reason why Garrett Nussmeier was snubbed out of the first team All-SEC ballot for South Carolina's Lenora Sellers. I understand. Lenora Sellers is a very, very good talent, a dual threat talent who's done next to little on the actual field as far as like proving his pedigree as a quarterback. I understand Garrett Nussmeier as a starter hasn't beaten anybody outside of really Ole Miss, Arkansas, like anybody of note. I get it. I understand. But there's far more examples of Garrett Nussmeier being a better quarterback than Lenora Sellers, to the point that this just reeks of pure LSU, maybe not hate, but complete bias against LSU, just like savagely. This is the one year where, like, 2019, even then, you guys could get away with saying, well, Tua is our guy. Tua over Joe. Who the hell is Joe Burrow? Put him like 5th team. Who cares? It's Tua. Okay. Tua was a great quarterback, great quarterback. Okay, I understand that there. And Joe, in the end, proved he was the better one of the two, head to head and then separately. Okay, that was a debate that was had on the field and off the field. And Joe settled that score, right? There is no debate that Garrett Nussmeier, going into this season, has a better resume, a better pedigree as a quarterback returning than Lenora Sellers, a DJ Lagway, Marcel Reed. I mean, all three of those guys could be fantastic. And Arch Manning you could include in there as well, because we still haven't seen Arch Manning and what he's done as a starter at the college football level. We haven't seen it. He's been that man in waiting so far. So what have we here? Why was Garrett Nussmeier snubbed out of an obvious pick? This was so egregious of a snub that it's almost like they're playing a joke on us. It's almost like, oh, you're just trolling us, right, Sankey? Like, you guys in the SEC media, you guys are all just snubbing everybody, whatever. Muscana on his show actually said something very interesting. He said it was only about 20% of the people who were there who actually filled out a ballot, which is weird. I thought, surely you would fill it out. I understand there's a lot going on, interviews that's going on, press conferences, all that stuff. Surely there'd be time to do the ballot. Maybe there wasn't. I'm not exactly sure what Matt Muscana said about the ballot thing, but he said, for a fact, I remember this, he said only like 20% of the people who could have filled out the ballot filled one out. So the sample pool of who was polled is very small. So that could be one reason why this is kind of skewed. But this is going to go down in the history books, man. Like, whatever happens, it will go down in the history books that preseason, LSU had Garrett Nussmeier second team All-SEC. Not first team, second team. That's a disgrace. I mean, that's just the only quarterback to return passing over 4,000 yards. Led the league. I mean, had so much of the burden on his shoulders last year. Win or lose, you couldn't be more seasoned. You couldn't be more ready for the moment. Especially when you look at how much more ready for the moment a Burrow or Daniels or a Mettenberger was, like theoretically here, Nussmeier has an advantage that none of them have. He's been there longer, he's been able to watch longer. He's been a coach's son. He has so many different advantages. But now he's got the biggest advantage of all. He's got the personnel, he's got the weapons. Yes, the offensive line is a big question. But there's ways of calling an offense that can almost negate an offensive line nowadays with these quick throwing, quick striking offensive play calling, quick little slants inside, quick screen passes, all these jet sweeps, stuff like that. You're dragging your offensive linemen all over the field. There's a variety of ways offensive coordinators can kind of get away from the hell of an offensive line that doesn't have familiarity, doesn't have the reps together. And Garrett Nussmeier is the type of quarterback that can pull that off. And he's got the right type of weapons that could actually deliver an offensive setup like that. You've got so much speed on this offense, man. The speed on this offense is ridiculous. I mean, running back Caden Durham is going to, I think, prove, or hopefully, there's nothing that goes on and he has the chance to prove, like there's no injuries, no nothing, where he can really go off. Because I think you see Caden Durham go off, I think it's going to help Caleb Jackson go off as well in a different way. And then LSU are cooking, running the football, and it's not even necessarily like offensive line must make every single block or you're screwed, you're 4 yards in the backfield. Instead, there's an extra layer of protection, if you want to call it that, where we have the weapons and the play calling and the quarterback, where their speed, their athleticism, and hopefully Nussmeier's rate of decision making, all of that can kind of take flight with an absolute heat-seeking, searing offense. A real top of the notch attack for LSU this year. And so it doesn't matter for me where the hell they want to rank Garrett Nussmeier. First team All-SEC, second team All-SEC. I actually am glad that he's snubbed. If I'm Brian Kelly, I'm actually paying them to snub Nuss. I'm actually paying the SEC to snub Nuss. You know why? Because it doesn't matter if Nuss is first team All-SEC preseason. It matters if he's first team All-SEC postseason. Right? That's what this thing is about. Who gives a shit about preseason? It's nice. It's fancy. It doesn't mean a damn thing to someone's career. And here's the thing. Garrett Nussmeier, he needs all the motivation he can have. Why not? Why not add a little more fuel to the fire? Piss him off a little bit more. Say, doubt him a little bit more. Second team All-SEC behind Lenoris freaking Sellers. Okay. Maybe you awake a sleeping giant, I don't think Nuss is a sleeping giant by any means, but maybe you awake something even more in him. A next level of F you, I'm going to show you, So, the snub, absolutely stupid, but, It's really inconsequential. It means absolutely, completely balderdash nothing. It means absolutely nothing. So Garrett Nussmeier shouldn't even concern himself or care about any of this. And just really focus on taking his game to the next level. That's what this is.